Alright, I'll keep the videos coming. Now I'll go into some trade ideas that I think we should keep an eye on, or maybe setups to be. Um, I think 3M is kind of setting up for something, and it's had one hell of a sell-off. It had earnings in January, and since then it's topped off and moved lower. We have the April earnings that reported, so we have that over and done with, and now we have a couple months of action before we need to worry about anything. It's obviously trending lower, and we have some pretty good volume right here. And one way to kind of look at this, at least this is kind of how I'm looking at it, is you see how you have, say, 200 up to 220, and that's one big volume cluster to me. And then from there, you could split it up if you really wanted to pick hairs, but and then you have one up here, a big volume area. So I kind of consider this the potential bottom of the range, and we're gonna walk through the chart and see if we can get on this opportunity and kind of go from there. So I'll start. I'm gonna zoom in, and we're gonna work our way to current price. So again, the big sell-off from January, we rally. All right. So if you're long, you're happy, but if you're long from lows, you're thinking protect profits, and that's kind of, let's just focus on that. So keep going. All right, selling into moving averages, into old support, but pretty strong selling. All right, straight through support. So if you're long here, or if you bought anywhere above 230, you have regret. We do have a buying tail here, so this looks pretty decent. Maybe we have a short-term floor, but look at this 235 level. You have the 100-day, 20-day moving lower. You have the 10-day moving lower, or it's just acting as a ceiling. So you have a lot to chew through. So this is definitely a no touch right here. Into resistance. Pretty persistent buying into resistance, and now they're on the other side. Well, it went without me. I wasn't going to touch that though. All right, at resistance. It did give a buy signal here. We did go from red to blue to green, and that's a pretty good setup. And the only reason I say so is because if it goes below this bar again, we know we're wrong. And this little pop here, and now we're holding, and we close strong above the 3 moving averages. Honestly, it's being a little more patient and in tune there. That was a pretty good long. 235. The following day you were as high as 237, and then the following day really after that is where it gave you your juice, and you got a little more than 2% on the upside. So if you're trading 50 delta, 60 delta options there, the 235s, yeah, you'd probably trade the 235s. You got $5 move, 50 delta, 60 delta. That's a pretty good return per contract. I'm sure the contracts were about, I don't know, depending, I guess, $8. Who knows? We'd probably, let's see, this was the beginning of March, 2 weeks until expiration. I guess that's not a terrible time. You are looking for it to go. You're not really trying to buy long term because it's choppy here. All right, this is back down, back to the 100, trying. All right, there they go. They flushed it. Feel that. Okay, we're trying to turn here to go to the upside. Like it wasn't looking it was looking like okay here, and the feeling. All right, we had this big down move, but since then it's like trying to stabilize. Like the buyers are making some progress. If you did buy under 235, you're not doing bad. And then we get that, and that feels different. Um, all right, selling 235's the pivot here. All right, they popped it above 235 and they sold right into it. So now this is looking, see? The regret to not being in tune to what was going on, and then the flush. All right, stabilizing. Sellers, 215 is an area. 215, holding. All right. 10-day EMA is coming down. I'm not really liking that. I mean, it's one of those things where if it's like, okay, if it clears 222, maybe you get a bounce. But this isn't looking too promising right here. I'd rather stay on the sidelines. All right, sellers prevailing. 10 days resistance. Found support again, 215. All right, 215. This looks bounceable now. Now you're in the middle end of the range. All right, but they made a new low, and then 2 days after that, they're holding this 211. So 217, 211, that's about 3%. I would be looking for 225 on the upside, mid to high 220s, 230s. We're still inside of the big days range, and we're still under the 10. We have some space between current price and the 10, and I think that's a little encouraging. All right, hitting the 10, 220s resistance. All right, we try to jump it. We're in blue bars. The sellers are just strong here. And if you bought that 217.50, I mean, I guess you had a pop, depending on how nimble you were, but you may have taken an L there. All right, trying. So do you respect your stop, or do you just get out on the, getting stuck? Banging against the 10. This is, the buyers are trying again. All right, back at 215. Above. This 20 days now in play. This looks tempting, right? I think it's worth risking some money for. You could even wait for a clearance above 219, and you're hoping for this to break higher. Go to 225. I'd be looking for that. All right, follow through. Come on, come on. Oh, it's just not going. Oh, that's awful. I think earnings are coming up now. So it tried. It pierced the 10, and then it looked like it wanted above the 20, and it just gave us nothing. All right, earnings. Blah. Blah. All right, 200. We're at $200, so that's a line in the sand. Under 200, 195. But selling's persistent. All right, that's a low right there. That's a tradable bottom. Absolutely, I'd be willing to risk money there. 195, basically a 190 stop. If I'm wrong, whatever. But 5 days in a row of selling after the earnings. At least a bounce, right? 200. Let's go test 200 again. Oh, come on. There we go. Let me use it. All right. So you see it changed to blue. We were patient. We let the sellers do their job. Changed to blue. We made a new low and then closed on the highs. So you're in at 195. We get our pop to 200. I'm expecting 205. I think we can test the top end of this gap, the 20-day. Obviously it's just $200 level, but I'd be taking profits into strength. All right, come on, come on, come on. All right, like something like that. You've had a $8 winner. That's pretty solid. Using options, you probably got a what 35-40% winner depending on your option, maybe even more. I don't know. This looks good. If you're still in, you're kind of just riding this higher, getting a little bit of no man's land here. All right, they sold into it. This. All right, back to 200. This 195 level is interesting. All right, back to 200. 195 is interesting. It's a little different from here, where we actually had some good buying here. Where here they sold into it, especially pre-earnings. Here you had a little bit of flow too, right? When buyers bought, they made progress. When buyers bought, they made progress. So 10's moving lower. You know, we're kind of setting up this $200 level. We're under it. It's not. All right, we popped, but that's not my trade there. We're going from red to green. I'm gonna try zooming a little more here. Red to green, 199, 200. I just want to mark 195, just because that level. Alright, that level was interesting. Buyers trying, 200, sitting right at the 10, right at the 20. Under. Okay, sellers are controlled down to 195. Okay, this kind of is in play. It's this press, right? Oh, you got this press here. Then the 20-day and the 10 days acting as resistance. $200 tested 95. We have this gap. Which is the 200-day, 100-day moving average also. Shit, we have 206. You know, we never even pierced on that side of the gap. So we still have 206, 207 to beat. Under, pop. All right. So we broke the downtrend line. This is current. The buyers are apparent here. All right, buyers. So if you bought here, you got your pop above. It did go from red to green, but we did have a blue, so maybe it's showing us something. We're under the 20. That's. I wish it was like a little lower and we were above the 20. Let's not make a decision yet on this. Let's let it go. Let's see what Monday brings. But I'm not gonna buy right off this candle. I want to see a little more. You know, if it starts, I guess, starts to clear, if it goes above Monday's high, if it closes above the 20-day, around 250, then let's try to take this for a little ride. Let's see if we can get to 207. Kind of do what Snap's doing, recover. So we'll keep this on our radar. And one more, Cisco. All right, this one's uptrending. All right, we've had this hell of a run, selling. This was February selling. It didn't even matter. New highs. We gapped up for earnings, sold into it, found some support. The 10-day supported, up again. Then we sold off, back down to the 10. The 20's creeping. We got blue bars. The buyers are pretty persistent here. I mean, they obviously feel this thing has a chance to keep going. So 44, 43. Okay, they're riding it. I wouldn't be buying here. Hell no. But we need more information. Okay, pop 46. All right, 45, 44 is becoming a big level. Look at the 10 and the 20 are coming together. Right at the upper end of the range. Upper end of the range. There's a little too much space right here between the 10 and the 20 for how sideways we're going. Leads me to believe we're going to try to test lower. Even if we go higher from here, I'd maybe test lower first. But I'm just looking for more information. That's all. All right, they did break it. Now we're under the 10 and the 20. Under the 10 and the 20. Sold into it. This may be a decent short here. Unless they're just trapping me. And this thing's just flowing higher. Oh, that's a good drop. That's a good drop. It was a, there was a sell set up there. You had this gap higher. It's literally the opposite of 3M and Snap, where you had this gap higher after earnings. It stabilizes, finds support, and then we trade back down to the lower end. So I'd be watching 42. See what happens there. If you're short, though, you're short based off of this bar, 44.30. And you got 43. So you got a nice gain right now. Hopefully it continues. That's positive. That's probably profit taken right there on that close. Alright, pop back up. Now if you're short, you're thinking fuck. But if you're long, you're not like, if you're thinking long here, you're not thinking long right here. This needs more time. You can get more information before you have to make a decision. 44, 44 half. They still sold that. Let's see. We're just going from green to red. We had this big gap from where we closed. And that's information. All right, this obviously wants to go lower. Yeah, that's an easy sell. We have to be on top of stuff like that. I mean, it engulfed the entire up bar, closed the gap, made a new low. I mean, this is like a gift to sell. Now, 41 or so, the 100-day, it was relevant here. Let's get more information. Pop. All right, so do we have a floor? No. 100-day. All right, 10 days, 10 days to ceiling right now. 100 days, obviously a little bit of support. They're trying. All right, they're through the 100-day, but they bought it. Pop. I'm just that bar right there is like I mean, I could see trying to play that to the long side for a continuation, but it's not. I wouldn't have taken it. All right, into the 10, back down. Some resistance. The 10 days now resistance. We've channeled now. We've really see how we've just waited for more information, and now we're seeing a range develop between the 10-day and the 100-day. And above that's 43 on the upside, and downside, I mean, we'll just use the lows for now, 40. Kind of a psychological level too, $40. All right, pop. All right, so it popped. It's tough to still, I mean, you're still buying into a downtrending 20 right into it, so there's not much room to it. Upside would be about 44 half for now. I mean, it's not terrible long. It's not mine, but it's not terrible. All right, 20 days resisting, but the 10 days working. It's probably worth taking a shot. There it is. Pop. Some selling. All right, pop. So all right, so we saw the bottoming process. The 100-day did its job. We popped above the 10. We did go red, blue to green. So we went blue to green. So that was a valid buy signal. And I guess you had to respect the uptrend a little more because that was a good trade. So if you did take that, you did the right thing. 42.5. Had to be a little patient, but it paid you. All right, top end of the Bollinger Band. 10-day and Bollinger Band. 10-day. All right, that's some selling pressure. They tested. I think earnings are going to be coming up pretty soon. All right, they bought the 20-day, closed at the 10. I'm not buying that, though. That's not a bar you buy. What's your upside? 45, but it's not. You should have been in here. This was the trade here. And if it wasn't, it was right here. Because you knew what your stop was. Under the 10 is where, I'm calling it quits. Especially if it closes poorly. And here we're trying to buy 43. I need more information though. Give me more. Okay, that worked. Okay, so the buyers were persistent. They got it. 45 is a bit of a ceiling. That's a sell bar, but it is into the 20 that's rising. The 10's still there. All right, just consolidating, going sideways, tested a new low. All right, they're trying. Does this thing want? Oh, this thing looks like it wants to break out. Go. All right. So if you bought that anticipating a breakout, it's not a bad trade. You put your stop below the low. 45.20. I mean, this isn't just, it's not really a volatile name. But I think it has a setup coming. All right, selling. Boom. Oh, fuck. Earnings. Damn it. So you had all these people who bought and they held on earnings, and that's why I guess we saw the selling into it. Because you had this group of people who bought into earnings and now they're at break even. They're like, fuck it. I'm just getting out. I thought this thing was going to break out, go towards 50. It didn't. And we're seeing, lower prices. It's trying, selling, trying. All right, that's a pretty good looking bar. That's almost tempting to go long on. I just don't. I mean, we have some space here. That's tempting. 43.68. I'm gonna hold off. I want more information. All right. Sideways, so the buyers are struggling. The 10 days, definitely a ceiling here. Got to get through 44. And then we got the 100-day. We do have some room to the downside, so that's something to be mindful of. All right, the sellers are pretty stingy here. Ooh, drop. All right. They did buy it. It was support. Gap down. All right, selling. Selling at the 100. Pop. Huh. So if I got long 43.65, I have 20-day moving average would definitely be target. 20-day moving average. Stop would be, 42.75. So I got about 2% of risk for about 2% upside. It's a 1-to-1 risk reward, but this thing, if it closes the gap, I got 45. So I got another, let's call it 2% of upside. So I got about 4%. This looks better than 3M here. I'd be looking at 43.65. Obviously, you want it to hold the 10-day. Stay above 43.50. If it doesn't, it's on a shorter leash than we thought. But if it does, then this thing should curl up, and that's current. So point of control is way down here. We're at the value area high. So we're creating a new range, or so it seems. The 100-day has been very relevant. It's been relevant, and is it relevant again? I think you can put your stop about $1 lower from here, 43.66, so 42.75 or so. This looks good. If I was aware of this on Friday, I would have bought it. It's going into the weekend, and my target would be 44 to 45. 44. What's the 20-day at? I don't know how that was. 20-day. 44.41 to 45. Testing the other side of 45. All right. So that looks a little more promising than 3M did.